Okay. Now continue.
Okay, sir. Lexicons. Lexicons are nothing but a dictionary of pre-classified words. There are different types of lexicons. They are polarity-based lexicons and valence-based lexicons. Polarity-based lexicons are nothing but these are the lexicons in which the words are categorized into binary classes. That is, whether their words are positive or negative. The three widely used polarity-based lexicons are LIWC, GI, and HULI04. LIWC stands for Linguistic Enquiry Word Count, and GI stands for General Enquirers. Coming to valence-based lexicons, they provide not only the binary polarity but also the strength of the sentiment expressed in a text. Polarity-based lexicons do not provide the intensity of the sentiment, whereas valence-based lexicons provide the intensity of the sentiment expressed in the text. The different or widely used valence-based lexicons are ANEW and Senti WordNet. ANEW stands for Effective Norms for English Words and Senti WordNet. Coming to the methodology used in the base paper, constructing and validating a valence-aware sentiment lexicon. We have seen what is a valence lexicon, and in this manually creating a lexicon is very labor intensive and sometimes error prone process. So many of the researchers and opinion mining practitioners rely on heavily existing lexicons such as LIWC, GI, and ANEW. Next is identifying generalizable heuristics human use to assess sentiment intensity in a text. Here they are purposefully analyzing a sample of 400 positive and 400 negative social media text snippets. Next, two human experts individually scrutinized all 800 tweets and independently scored their sentiment intensity on a scale from -4 to +4. That is, if the if the text is more negative, it ranges from -4, and if the text is positive, it ranges between 0 to +4. Next, they used qualitative analytics techniques to identify the properties and characteristics of text which affect the perceived sentiment intensity of the text. These are some of the techniques which increase or decrease the intensity of a text. They are punctuation, capitalization, degree modifiers, and the contrast conjunction. But coming to punctuation, there are many kinds of punctuation marks, but exclamation mark increases the magnitude of the intensity without modifying the semantic orientation. Semantic orientation is nothing but the exact meaning of that sentence. These punctuations should not alter or modify the meaning of a sentence. For example, the food here is good. In the slide, you can see the food here is good is more intense than the food here is good. That is without exclamation marks. Coming to capitalization, specifically all caps emphasize a sentiment relevant word in the presence of another non-capitalized words. That is, the word which contributes more to the sentiment intensity should be capitalized so that it can increase the magnitude or overall accuracy of the sentiment. For example, the food here is great conveys more intensity than the food here is great. Here, the great is the only word which specifies the intensity of a text. So, if great is made as all caps, it increases the overall accuracy. That is what capitalization means. Next, degree modifiers. Degree modifiers are also called as intensifiers or booster words. They impact the intensity, sentiment intensity, either by increasing or decreasing the intensity. Here, the service here is extremely good, is more intense than the service here is good. That is, the word extremely is called as degree modifiers. There are many kinds of words which increase the modify intensity. These are called as degree modifiers. Next, and whereas the service here is marginally good, reduces the intensity. Next, coming to the contrastive conjunction, but the food here is great, but the service is horrible. It is a kind of a mixed sentiment. The food here is great is the first part of the sentence, which increases overall accuracy. But coming to the next sentence, that is part of the sentence, that is, but the service is horrible. Not only decreases overall accuracy, but has a mixed sentiment. That is, the people who would reject it in most of the times. The hotel, what we are talking about with the latter, it decreases the overall rating also. Next step is the controlled experiments to evaluate the impact of grammatical and syntactical heuristics. Heuristics are nothing but if the human defined rules which are discovered whenever the uh, uh, classical existing rules do not work or do not give overall accuracy. That is what heuristics mean. using the general heuristics that was identified in the below in the earlier sessions, that was degree modifiers, capitalization, and punctuation. The next related 30 tweets and manufactured some variations in those 30 tweets, and then at last they came up with 200 tweets. And initially there were 800 tweets, that is 400 positive and 400 negative. Then now they created another 200 tweets, and they inserted these the 200 tweets in a random order inside these new set of 800 tweets. Then AMT workers, that is specialized workers who were very experienced and knowledgeable in data cleaning, training, and selection, were asked to rate the sentiment intensity of those words. Next is the ground truth in multiple domain concepts. These are nothing. Ground truth is nothing but it is a term used in statistics and machine learning. That means checking the results of a machine learning result against the real world results. That is what ground truth means. Next, this was a methodology carried out in the base paper. Next they incorporated the Veda's rule-based model. As said earlier, rule-based models are those which works upon the human crafted rules. That is why it is called as rule-based. And Veda, because they are using valence-based lexicons. That is, the valence-based lexicons not only not only predict the polarity of the lexicons, but also provide the intensity of the sentiment in the word. That is why it is known as Veda's rule-based model. Next, coming to the result analysis, this is a graph. This graph is called as Pearson product moment correlation coefficient, and it is specified using a value called R. And along with this, the results were also compared with using a precision, recall, and FN score. As said, real precision, we know that what is precision, what is recall, and what is FN score. And this here, WADER, LIWC, GI, and ANEW, all these are the most commonly used 7 lexicons, and which these are WADER was compared with these LIWC, GI, ANEW, and WSD and SWN. These all are the short forms of the most widely and currently used lexicons. Here, let me abbreviate those. LIWC stands for linguistic enquiry word count, and GI stands for general enquirer, and ANEW stands for effective norms for English words, and WSD stands for word sense disambiguation, and so on. This here in this we can see that R value, the small r value, is much higher in WADER when compared to LIW, CGI, and ANEW. That is, R value is 0.88. This graph is called as I'll repeat it again. This graph is called as Pearson product moment correlation coefficient graph. It was here the results are compared with these 7 base lexicons, and what the other human experts, what was the polarity when they researched these 8. Excuse me.
Yes.
Next, coming to real-time case studies. What's up?
Continue.
Okay, sir. Next, real-time case studies. This is an example which I had taken it from Google, where sentiment analysis was used in a few years ago in 2016 US presidential elections. This conversation is between the followers of Clinton and Donald Trump. Here, over the course of few months during the 2016 US presidential elections, we collected and analyzed millions of tweets mentioning Clinton or Trump posted by users around the world. We classified each of those tweets in a sentiment of either positive, negative, or neutral. Here are some of the tweets that were analyzed. I've just given 3 examples, in which one is positive, neutral, and negative. A positive: American trust at real Donald Trump to make our economy great again. This was a tweet which was posted by one of the fans of Donald Trump. And next is neutral: at Hillary Clinton will receive the first question at tonight's presidential debate, according to CBS News. And this is the hashtag which was created. And negative racial discord was conceived, nurtured, and refined and perpetuated by Americans. This was when analyzed, this became a negative tweet. Uh, to summarize this real-time case study, some of the interesting insights were Donald Trump received almost 450K tweets, and Hillary Clinton received almost 250K tweets. For both the candidates, there were both negative tweets more than the positive tweets. Given that it's Twitter and politics, this was not much of surprise. That is, the candidates received more negative tweets than the positive tweets. But when compared to Clinton, Trump had a better positive and negative tweet when ratio than Clinton. To sum up, more people were tweeting about Trump, and a higher percent of people tweeting about Trump were doing so more positively than those tweeting about Clinton. Um, Next, coming to the applications of sentiment analysis. There are a variety of applications of sentiment analysis. Some of them are as follows. Social media monitoring, brand monitoring, market research, and customer service. Coming to brand monitoring. What is brand monitoring? It is a process of monitoring various channels to find mentions of a brand and assessing what is being said about it. That is, what is being said about your brand, whether they are whether the people are saying it in a positive way or negative way. This is one of the major applications where sentiment analysis is used. Then where to monitor the it can be monitored in online publications and blogs, forums, review sites, and most importantly the social media platforms. And then there are a variety of tools available for brand monitoring. Some of those are Google Alerts, LexisNexis, Brand Watch Analytics, and TweetDeck. Out of these, Google Alert is a simpler and a free brand monitoring tool. It works very simple. You have to just enter the keyword you want to search, and enter your email address. That's it. Every time someone in online uses your keyword, you will get a mail about that.
Niveda, are you there? Niveda. Niveda, what happened?
Excuse me. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Continue.
I'll share the screen again. Yeah. There are different tools available for social media monitoring. They are Hootsuite, TweetReach, and if then what?
Wait, I'll make you the host. Wait. I'll make you the host.
Okay, sir.
Now you share your screen.
Okay, sir. There are. Shall I continue, sir?
Yes.
There are different tools available for social media monitoring. They are Hootsuite, TweetReach, if this then what. These are the different tools available online. One of the best free social media listening tools covers multiple social networks such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, and that is Hootsuite. Hootsuite is a free and simpler social media monitoring tool. Then coming to the pros and cons, that is advantages and disadvantages of sentiment analysis. Coming to the advantages, that is pros. It is efficient and cost effective, real time analysis and consistent criteria. Efficient and cost effective. We can imagine manually sorting through thousands of tweet surveys. It is labor intensive and it is a time consuming process, whereas machines can do this at a very faster rate, and it is efficient and also it is cost effective. Next, coming to real time analysis. These machines analyze the real time data, that is which are extracted where the data is extracted from real time platforms, real-time users such as social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google Plus, and so on. Next is consistent criteria. It is that most of the what is that the result predicted by most of the machines is acceptable by the people, and it is almost correct when compared to the ground truth. That is we had explained the term ground truth earlier itself, but I'll explain it again. It is a term. It is just a term used used in statistics and machine learning. That means checking the results of the machine learning algorithm or techniques with the accuracy against the real world truth. That is what is ground truth is. Next, coming to the cons, context and polarity. Context context is nothing but the situation. However, machines cannot understand or learn about the context if they are not mentioned explicitly. It is difficult for machines to learn about the context. One of the problems that arise from context is changes in polarity. And then polarity, there are three kinds of polarity, that is positive, negative, and neutral. Then irony and sarcasm. When it comes to irony and sarcasm, people express their sometimes people express their negative sentiments using positive words, which can be difficult for machines to detect without having a thorough understanding of the context of the situation in which a feeling was expressed. It leads irony and sarcasm sometimes leads the machine into ambiguity. That is, it cannot classify whether it is a positive sentiment or a negative sentiment. Next, as defining neutral. Then defining neutral is also one of the difficult process. Defining what we mean by neutral is another challenge to tackle in order to perform accurate sentiment analysis. As in all classification problems, defining your categories, in this case, neutral tag is one of the most important parts of the problem. What do you mean by positive, negative, or neutral does matter when you train sentiment analysis models. These are the three major challenges faced while dealing with sentiment analysis, that is context and polarity, irony and sarcasm, defining neutral. So coming to the conclusion part, we have seen that sentiment analysis is widely used tool using which businesses can improve their products, designs, so which is widely acceptable by the people. Based on the review sites, they can change their designs or products. To change, they cannot. It is not possible for a company to sit and analyze all the 1,000 tweets in their review sites. Therefore, in such areas, sentiment analysis models can be deployed. This is a major use of sentiment analysis techniques. Sentiment analysis has a strong commercial interest because companies want to know how their products are being perceived, and also prospective consumers want to know what existing users think. That's it, sir.
Niveda?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me start with the first one where you said about sentiment analysis. Okay. You said something
Yes,
about
sir.
positive, negative, and neutral. Can you go to that, please?
Which one, sir?
I don't know which slide, but you said something about positive, negative, and neutral sentiments.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Just stop it. Yeah, just stop it. So my question is, see, if you remember recently, I mean, most of these days, youngsters tend to represent their sentiments using emojis.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Emotion detection.
So in this sentiment analysis, what exactly did you consider? I mean, what exactly did the author consider? Okay, in the review paper which you've gone through, did they consider like textual data? Like you gave example, right? Something you said about, let's say,
sir.
this is really good and
sir.
stuff. So listen. So in that case, there were no emojis, and it was able to detect it as positive, negative, or neutral, right? That okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
if I use emojis to represent it, like the first one that says I'm angry, okay. So
yes, sir.
yeah, so how did the author consider this? How can we detect this? I mean, emotion detection. Did the author consider that?
No, sir. In the base paper, they have not used emojis. They have just used only text classification techniques. Yes, sir.
Okay. Only text
classification detection is another type of sentiment analysis where only emojis are considered.
Okay, so you didn't.
It is another type of emotion. It is another type of sentiment analysis.
So you
emotion
didn't
detection is another type of sentiment analysis, sir.
No. Did you consider that? Did you consider that in any way?
No, sir. In the base.
Okay. Next question. Okay, you said something you said about where you were given the performance matrices, accuracy, precision, recall. Can you go to that slide? Accuracy, precision, recall, something like that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Here it is.
Yes. So my question is,
Mm.
how is accuracy calculated? How is it calculated?
Accuracy.
How is it calculated? See, accuracy is not a black box, right? There's a simple formula to calculate accuracy. Do you know the formula? Because I think in
Total
the best
number of
tell.
total number of positive results obtained by the total number of results.
Okay, but why is it expressed? Why is it expressed in percentage? Because if you always calculate accuracy, you get it in range of 0 to 1.
What, sir?
When you calculated accuracy, you get it in the range of 0 and 1, meaning, yeah, 0.83 like that. So why is it in percentage? Why is it in percentage? Did you understand my question?
Yeah, sir, here they have taken in terms of, in the base paper, they have taken in terms of percentage itself.
No, you got it. State the formula again. You have to multiply it by 100 to convert it to percentage.
Yes, sir. Into 100.
Yeah, you should tell, no? Because it's easy for us to interpret our analysis in percentage than definite in real number. Okay. So when you calculate the accuracy, the formula is always number of, let's say, correctly instances upon the total number of instances, including correct and incorrect. Yeah, into 100. So why is it easy for us to interpret it? Now, what is the difference between accuracy and precision? What is the difference?
Sir, precision is to be general. Precision is how close the obtained result is to the calculated result.
Okay,
how close is the
so in this case, can you fit a model that will predict, that will give us the precision? Can you give me the formula for precision? Because see, whatever you explained, it looks like accuracy. No, you are right in your definition, okay? But how do you explain it? Yeah, how do you explain it now? Do you know the formula to calculate precision? You forgotten. No, can you remember? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So now, if you go to that tweet where you said Trump versus Clinton, okay? So in tweets.
Okay, sir.
Where we had Trump versus Clinton.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So my question is, how do you differentiate the ground truth? Example, someone can just hashtag the ground truth. You said something about ground truth, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in this case, how do I ensure that this was original tweet from Trump, that it was not a modified tweet?
Sir, to gather this information, creating a normal Twitter account is not enough, sir. They have to create another Twitter account called as developer account, I think. There they can get the data sets, what the others have tweeted. With the normal Twitter account, you cannot afford to get the data. So they have to create another account called as developer account. There you will be getting what all the data that was tweeted in Twitter.
Okay. So, because that takes me to the next question. Because see, normally, yes, he's an influential person, so he will not have an individual account. He's a developer account, obviously. Okay. Now, but the question is, how do they crawl this? Web is called web scrap. Okay, maybe you didn't look into this. How do they grab all? Did the author tell you how all the data was collected? What matrices did they use in collecting the data, or did they just rely on publicly available data? What is the source of this?
No, sir, that just actually there are more case studies. It was one of that.
Okay, fine. Do you have a data set for this?
No, sir. It was.
I saw somewhere you mentioned something 8,000 or something. I don't know. I saw maybe. No, do you have a data set for this? There is no data set.
No, sir. They were just the insights, what they have analyzed.
But how can they carry out a research without any data set, not to check this tweet or whatever? Because there must be a data set that contains some numeric tests, right, which we bag, okay, and then we'll be able to do a kind of sentiment analysis and then say if a sentence contains this, right? So it has to be maybe it has to be put into this, classified as this or something. There must be a data set not to validate the algorithm or whatever, no? Right? Sir. Because if you get back to that, get back to the algorithm where you have where you calculated precision, recall, and stuff. Get back to that. We saw, I think LSTM was there or something. Yeah, see,
Yes, sir.
LSTM was there. Yeah, so for you to carry out this, you must have tested it on an existing, maybe, or and obtained maybe a data set, or either existing or the one they just came up with. So what is that group? What is group GRU? Can you expand it?
Which one, sir?
GRU, the third one.
Sir, it is a gated recurrent unit. It is similar to LSTM, sir. They
So
are
why,
much advanced types of artificial neural networks.
fine, why is the performance so low? Like even the accuracy and across all matrices, the performance is very low. Why? Is there
What,
any
sir? What, sir?
justification? Why is the
Can you
performance?
just
Yes, why is the
why is the
performance
performance?
so low as compared to other ones? See, the accuracy is low, precision is low, recall,
Yes, sir.
specificity are. Why? These are all deep learning models, okay? So why is
Yes,
that
sir.
one? Yeah, why did it perform very bad on that? On the same, I know they must have used a data set, okay, and they tried these three models on it. So why did that one, why did it perform so low?
For compared to BiLSTM, for GRU, BiLSTM has the bidirection property, that is, it can propagate in the forward direction and backward direction at the same time, whereas GRU does not have that
I don't think
function.
so. No, did the author justify? Because see, this you took from the same paper, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
there must be a justification why that these other ones perform more and these did not perform. I don't think because that one you can it is bidirectional, you can propagate the output again back and then train it again. I don't think so. So the author must
Yes,
have
sir.
justified. Maybe this is your perception, right? This is what you think, no? No, what you're explaining is what you think. Is that what you think or what the author said in the paper? What you yeah, no. The justification, is that what the author said in the paper or what you think? That's what I want to know.
It's what I think, sir.
Gotcha. Okay, fine. Okay, do you know how web crawler is done? How web
What,
crawler
sir?
is done? Web crawling. How is it done using Python?
I don't know, sir.
Yeah, because see, there are so many notebooks out there. Okay, you can see how you crawl
Different
a web.
modules.
Yeah, yeah, it's a model, fine, but it's not a black box. See, example, I want you to take reviews of some comments on MIT homepage, sorry, a Facebook page, okay? People will comment,
Okay,
and even I've seen so many people telling, no, the college is not nice, this one and that one and stuff. So in such case, I want you to crawl it using a Python script, okay? So it's very easy. You have not seen that, right?
yes, sir.
You've not, okay, fine. Okay, take it. Okay, fine. What else do I want to say? So what I have observed is, um, yeah, your slide is okay. There's no much of, I mean, overloaded information and stuff. But yes, what else? Yeah, fine. Okay, I think for now, yeah, we will stop it here and then we will resume with others tomorrow. Yeah, overall,
Okay, sir.
fine. Overall, yeah, you did well. Okay, fine. Take care.
Okay,
We
sir.
end the session now, and yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I think Honorable doesn't have any question. Yeah, no question. Okay, sure. Okay, we continue. Okay. I mean, we see
Okay, sir.
tomorrow.
Shall I end the question?
Yes,
End the session, sir?
yes, yes, yes. So Prakruti and
Okay, sir.
Fahim, you will get ready for us tomorrow. Same time, definitely. Okay, bye.
Okay, sir.
End the session. Don't leave. Just end it.